I highly recommend you watching Tim Urban's Inside the Mind of a Master Procrastinator TED Talk before this video, so you can get the glimpse of how this procrastination even works. Oh, you already watched it? Okay, then let's start the video. Procrastination. A noun, the action of ruining your own life for no apparent reason. As a pro-procrastinator myself, I can say that this definition is utterly correct. It lets you waste your life by doing the unimportant stuff over the urgent important ones. Like just before writing the script, I procrastinated by watching my video that I uploaded yesterday, which I watched over 30 times while making it, and an extra 5 times after uploading. Yeah. I hate myself. And I recently saw a Way by Way article that explains how to beat this shitty procrastination, and I thought it'd be cool to share with you guys. And by the way, the writer himself was also a serious procrastinator, so you might actually relate to it a lot. Okay, so there are 2 components of being able to achieve things in a healthy and effective manner: planning and doing. Let's start with the easy one. Planning. Surprisingly, procrastinators love planning. Quite simply because planning does not involve doing, and doing is a procrastinator's kryptonite. But when procrastinators plan, they like to do in a vague and unrealistic way, and their planning leaves them perfectly set up to not actually accomplish anything. But effective planning, on the other hand, sets you up for success and actually helps you to accomplish the items on your list in an efficient manner. So first of all, effective planning takes a big list and selects the winner. The item that wins should be the one that means the most and important for you. If urgent items are involved, those will have to come first and should be knocked out as quickly as possible in order to make way for the important items. And secondly, effective planning makes an icky item unicky. An icky item means vague and murky and you're not really sure where you'll start. So let's say your dream is to make your own app, and you know that if you build a successful app, you could quit your job and become a full-time developer. So you decide to learn how to code, the winning item on your list, the number 1 priority. Exciting, right? Well, no, because learn how to code is an intensely icky item, and every time you decide it's time to get started, you will coincidentally also decide your fees need to be checked and your desk needs to be cleaned ASAP. It'll never end up happening. To unicky the item, you need to read, research, and ask questions to find out exactly how one learns how to code. Unicky on this item turns it from this to this. It turns a daunting item into a series of small, clear, manageable tasks. But just because you unicky an item, it doesn't mean it's still not horribly big and daunting. And the key to de-dauntifying an item is to observe this fact. No one builds a house, but they lay one brick again and again and again, and the end result is a house. But procrastinators are great visionaries. They love to fantasize about the beautiful mansion they want to have built. But what they really need to do is lay one brick after the other, day after day. And the good news is, laying one brick isn't daunting, but the bricks do require scheduling, so the final step in planning is slotting the bricks into the calendar. And you need to specify actually when you'll do it. Like, you can't start learning to code in July, but you can start learning to code in July 11th from 6 to 7 p.m. Now that you're effectively planned, just follow the schedule and you'll be a programmer, and only thing left to do is doing. It's not that the procrastinators don't like the concept of doing, they just look at the bricks on their calendar and they think, great, this will be fun. And that's because when they picture the moment in the future when they sit down and do the work, they picture things without the presence of instant gratification monkey. So when the actual moment arrives to begin that scheduled bricklaying, the procrastinator does what the procrastinator does best. He lets the monkey ruin the shit out of it. Let's examine this specific challenge of laying a single brick. So this diagram represents the challenge anytime you take on a task. Whether it's making a PowerPoint, going out to the gym, working on a script, or anything productive you do in your life. So the critical entrance is where you go to officially start the task. The dark woods are the process of actually doing the task, and once you finish, you're rewarded by ending up in the happy playground, a place where you feel satisfaction and where leisure times is pleasant and rewarding. And you occasionally end up super engaged with what you're working on and enter a state of flow, where you're so blissfully immersed in the task that you lose track of time. And those paths look something like this. Sounds pretty simple, right? Well, unfortunately for procrastinators, they tend to miss out on both the happy playground and the flow. For example, here's a procrastinator that never even gets started on the task he's supposed to do. And because he never makes it through the critic entrance, instead he spends hours dwelling in the dark playground, hating himself. Like me. And here's a procrastinator who gets started on the task, but she can stay focused and keeps taking long breaks, mindlessly scrolling through Instagram and watching dumb YouTube videos like this. She doesn't end up finishing the task. And here's a procrastinator who couldn't bring himself to get started, just like the first procrastinator. But he got a deadline that got so close, the panic monster suddenly came roaring into the room, freaking him out and causing him to fly through the task to hit the deadline. After he finishes, he lands somewhere called the mixed feeling part, where he feels decent because he accomplished something, but is also not that pleased because he knows he did an underwhelming job, and he feels like he wasted most of his days procrastinating for no reason. So, if you're a procrastinator, which you probably are, let's look at what you need to do to get on the right path, one that will leave you much happier. The first thing you must do is make it through the critic entrance. This means stopping whatever you're doing when it's time to begin the task, putting away all distractions and getting started. It sounds simple, but this is the hardest part. This is where the instant gratification monkey puts off its strongest resistance. The monkey absolutely hates stopping fun to start something hard, and this is where you need to be the strongest. If you can get started and force the monkey into the dark woods, you've broken a bit of his will. There will also be times when you bump into a tree. Maybe the weather's not that great to go to the gym, or maybe you just don't understand this stupid ass formula, and this is when the monkey will make its boldest attempt for escape. But it makes no sense to leave the dark woods in favor of the dark playground. They're both dark and they're both shit to be in. But the big difference is the dark woods leads to happiness and the dark playground leads only to more misery. But the good news is, if you can power through a bit of a dark woods, something fun happens. Making progress on a task produces positive feelings of accomplishment. And when you feel a burst of self-satisfaction, the monkey finds a high self-esteem banana. It doesn't retire rid of his resistance, but it goes a long way distracting him, and you'll find that the urge to procrastinate has diminished. Then if you continue along, something magical happens. Once you get 2/3 or 3/4 of the way along the task, especially if it's going well, you start to feel great about things and slowly the end is in sight. This is a key tipping point. The tipping point is important because it's not just you who can smell the happy playground up ahead, the monkey can also smell it too. Once you hit the tipping point, the monkey becomes more interested in getting to the happy playground. When this happens, you lose all the impulse to procrastinate and now both you and the monkey are speeding towards the finish. And before you know it, you're done and you're in the happy playground. Now, for the first time in a while, you and the monkey are a team. You both want to have fun and it feels great. The other thing that may happen when you pass the tipping point, depending on the type of task and how well it's going, is that you might start feeling fantastic about what you're working on. So fantastic that continuing to work sounds like much more fun than stopping to do leisure activities. And this is called the flow. Flow is not only a blissful feeling, but also usually when you do great things. Fighting through to the tipping point is hard, but what makes procrastination so hard to beat is that the instant gratification monkey has a terrible short-term memory. Even if you wildly succeed on Monday, when you begin a task on Tuesday, the monkey has forgotten everything and will again resist entering the dark woods. And there's only one way to truly beat procrastination, and that is, you need to prove yourself that you can do it. Yeah, it's kinda cringy and corny, but I also think that's the best way too. Like, imagine a basketball player. The shooter can tell himself 1,000 times, I'm a great shooter, I'm gonna hit the next one, but it's not until he physically hits the shot that his confidence goes up and his touch comes back. So, how do you actually start hitting shots? First of all, try to internalize the fact that everything you do is a choice, and then create methods to help you defeat the monkey. One can be is telling one or more friends or family members about a goal you're trying to accomplish. If, however, that's not the situation and kinda meh, try to create a panic monster by yourself, if there's none. A small one would be is to set up a timer when you'll finish the work. And however, if you really want to start a business and you can't really wake up your panic monster by just setting up a timer, quitting your job will make the panic monster your new roommate. Pretty good advice. And if you're trying to upload YouTube videos more consistently, try asking people new videos every week or every day. That's a method that I'm using right now. and I regret it. If your phone is a huge problem of distraction, turn on the do not disturb mode or install this block app where you can schedule which period of time you're going to block a certain app, like YouTube. But if you're starting with YouTube and the recommendation tabs are the hell of a problem, try using Unhook. It's a Chrome extension that can hide all the recommendations and stuff. And even if you tried all of these methods and they aren't really working and nothing has improved, change them into your own taste that can actually work for you. And lastly, the key isn't to be perfect, but to simply improve. Like, I'm a serious procrastinator who procrastinated for an hour while making a video about how to beat procrastination. But I definitely feel better than I was a few months ago, cause I know for sure that dumbass wouldn't even start making the video. So, all that being said, beating procrastination is one of the crucial components for gaining control over your own life. So much of what makes people happy or unhappy, their self-esteem and their regrets, are severely affected by procrastination. So it's worthy of being taken seriously. And the time to start improving is now. I mean, not like now, but sometime soon.